to slap them around like we've been slapping around. We have given the Zionists and the Americans a Negro butt whooping over the last days. We have. You're going to think that they've been winning. Let me explain to you what we've been doing. But before that, let me finish this up. If you disclose acts of charity, even so it is well, but if you conceal them and make them reach those really in need, that is best for you. It will remove from you some of the stains of evil, and Allah is well acquainted with all that you do. Charity is for those in need. We skip an eye. Charity is for those in need who in Allah's cause are restricted from travel and cannot move about in the land seeking for trade and work. Boss man, when we were left alone, how do you think we bought all of this property? We're not poor. We have 8 pieces of property here and several pieces in California. So we're not doing bad. The only thing is we are restrained from using it properly because boss man put so much doggone dumb stuff on you that you can't use, or he pulls everybody out of all of those things that produce income. And that makes people nervous. It don't make us nervous because we're going to raise funds from one side of the country to the other. Yeah, we're glad that, but we've been waiting on, we're always waiting on something, but we've been waiting on this one. Okay. So they're restricted. They cannot move about in the land seeking for trade and work. The ignorant mans think because of their modesty that they are free from want. Thou shalt know them by their unfailing mark. They beg not inopportunely for all and sundry. And whatever good you give, be assured Allah knoweth it well. So definitely we're going to use whatever you give us. So we want clubs in this area. After we get this thing hooked up here, we're going to be going out for the last 2 weeks of Ramadan or quicker and passing these DVDs out. We want you to look at them, and you get Masjid al-Islam support groups because the government they have a troop of Negroes and Arabs and everybody trying to stop us from going where we need to go in Allah's way. And we're not going for it. And we want your help. Not a little teeny help, big help. We're saying put your money in groups. Select 2 or 3 people in your group in all of these centers around D.C. for Eid and bring it to us. Figure out your own way to get it over here, but get it to us. Why? Because we need it. We need it for the struggle. Now, we're going to, the government, you see some of them treated us so stupidly that we're going to sue the government for $300 million, and we may, since they're acting crazy now, we may boost it up to $400 million. So what? If we get it, that's fine. If we don't, it don't make absolutely no difference because we're going to be here and all around the world telling the people what we've already done and what we're going to do with their money. And they can judge between what we have said. They can order CDs, DVDs, whatever they want, and they can see what we've talked about, and they can inspect our record. And they can match our record up with all of these blowhards and bootlickers and ass kissers around here. Tell the truth. And our record is not the same. Technically, they think that we're crazy over here. But the only thing is, this is the same thing they said about these guys is wandering in mind. Man, and then right there about Shuaib, they said, Was that Shuaib? One of them. That said, man, if we followed you, we would go broke. Basically, that's what. Man, if we followed what you saying, we would be broken crazy. And they are saying, people right around here, they're saying, man, if we paid attention to y'all, we would get sent back home, we would get beat up and everything else. We said, well, it's not what we say. We're just repeating what we read. We just, the Quran. Do you notice every time you read the Quran, it even comes more alive? You say, man, we've been off the mark. And then we say, but the other brothers, not that we saying we better than it, but if we off the mark, them boys don't know what the mark is. It's a shame. We not with them. We not with no sweetie pie, handkerchief head, butt licking Muslims. We don't do that. And we proved it. And we've been here, see, just in case somebody forgets and don't understand. The years that we got in, nobody else have that. They don't have that. There is no record in history where people have lasted as long as we have, saying what we say and doing what we do. They had to infiltrate in all our schools and everything and then tell people to leave. Like there's nobody developed we was on the way to 50 or 100, but we didn't get to but 10 centers. And they were pretty nice centers. And just like East Oakland Enterprises, they close it down. And the average idiot would waste their time. You notice we don't do no fixing on nothing. They got stuff right down there, the floor. You think we're going to lose some time fixing that? Absolutely not. They would want us to spend all our time fixing. We'll fix all that when we get ready. How we want, right? And what have we been doing? We've been studying, writing, and talking and whooping boss man's behind. We done gave boss man so many whoopings in the last 10 years that you would think we was lying because you haven't seen them all. We've seen all of them. Look, how we whoop boss man is like, you got to visualize a shaitan. And shaitan come in talking trash. Visualize, you grab the shaitan, kick him in his butt, bust him upside the head, and throw him out the masjid. That's the way we do the Zionists and the boss man. And they let you know we do it because they have us, we're going to scare this nigga to death. And after a while, it ain't working, you don't hear about me no more, do you? Tell the truth. For a while, you could turn on any TV, there we'd be. You can't do that now. Why? Because they thought we was like other niggas. They thought we was like other niggas. We didn't study niggas. We love niggas. Not because we're not saying we one of them, but we like them. But we know them. And we studied the good things they do and the mistakes they do. And the good effects they have a soft spot for boss man. We call it the Mandela effect. Or the Jomo Kenyatta effect. No matter what you do to him, he's going to come back to that. Right? It don't make no difference. He's going to come back to that. That's the way he is. Now, just long as you're not a Negro, you don't do that with niggas. It's just boss man. That's the way it is. It's no big deal. You just have to use everything in the environment. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it. But you're given an environment and you have to learn how to manage and manipulate everything in the environment that you're given in your time and use the resources that Allah have allowed you to accumulate and to manage. Okay, we'll try to speed it up. So, we'll now go to page 1, and so now it begins. That's the introduction. No, look. Dramatize. See, They dramatize, you watch them Negro movies that they used to make, blaxploitation. I got a series on one thing. I'm going to make copies for y'all. It has Superfly, Superfly TNT, or Superfly Goes to Africa. And it has one with all the guys in Oakland and the Mac. All of my friends. It's a long story. Superfly was a good Negro. He's a big dope dealer, and he tired of it and wanted a new life. So he left. You know, according to the film, Superfly left with $150,000, just about. Now, if you add that up, I know a Negro that left with that exact same amount of money, but $150,000 then was just like 1.5 million now. And that's after tussling a lot. You know, everybody else, Bonnie and Clyde and them, when they leave, or Jesse James and them, they leave broke, right? They all leave broke. Just one more job. Y'all ever seen that Western or that gangster movie? We're gonna, fellas, we're gonna pull one more job. And that's when they get us home free. Well, I watched them too. And I said, no last jobs. That one was the last job. So we're gonna go around and collect our resources. And we're gonna leave the rest. If it's a going business, we're leaving it because we got to go. You're not going to hold on, we want our business because it's ours. No, you stay there. And the same thing happened. You happened to all the other Negroes. They killed them all. And they didn't lose one day of sleep. And neither did the other Negroes either. And the ones that was overseas where I went, they was over there by themselves. People didn't even send them money. They thought I was crazy when I got there and gave them money. Well, so don't worry. And then I told them, I said, y'all want to do such and such and such, and it'll help the revolution. Well, we can't do that. They didn't say it was haram, but it was. I said, well, okay, I'll go do it myself. So I went and hooked it up myself. I came back 2 years later to Algeria, and all the Negroes was gone. I stumbled around and found the leader down in Tanzania, and he told me what happened. Basically, he said it was vagina got us kicked out of Algeria. It wasn't they didn't like black people and all of that stuff. And then a lot of other news came through. So after that, I didn't have no other reason to do that what I was doing, but I kept on for a while. Finally, my sons can tell you we had a big meeting on the border at the Country Club Hotel. That's the racetrack here, Country Club. And we hooked up. It was already in the move, big plans, da-da-da-da-da, and the whole staff was there. Finally, I told my partner that I'm tired of doing this and flying here and there, that I'm going to bring me a bike, you know, and at that time it was a Honda 750. At that time, that was the biggest Honda that they made. It had a lot of juice, and it rode nice. So I was headed down, down to Mexico. I was in Mexico, headed across, and the highway run out. Imagine you on that asphalt, ready to hit the Central American Highway down there, and and go all the way back and go across the canal, go back, but you freer. You got. I didn't have nothing on that bike but my archery set, clothes, and that was it. The road runs out. Going around the curve, and then it pops back up. Asphalt again. That's where all these burns on the elbow come from. I had a helmet on. And right behind me was a Mexican tow truck. I guess he might have been following. I had no idea. Told him, take me back, take me to Mexicali, hit the border, thought about it. You know, we always talk about signs. That was a sign. Even in those days, before I knew what ayats was. I said, that's a signal. Said that, and then I studied Central America. They was killing, that was before they was killing nuns. You know, that was when they was having all that murder and killing in Salvador, all through, you couldn't get through Central. And I was getting ready to, right into Central America. A Negro with a pocket full of money on a motorbike. Pan American Highway. And Allah cut the highway out, popped it back up, said, it's time to get this straight. Anyway, I already know I'm blessed. I don't care what nobody else say. I already know. I got my own history. Hell, I